So today's video is going to be pretty interesting because I'm going to be talking about why I'm really not that big a fan of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe's battle mode. Now, I'm going to be honest, I have had this thought in mind for several months now, and I've decided, you know what, screw it, I'm just going to make a video on it. I know people are going to be really upset with me with some of the things I'm going to be talking about, but I feel like this is something that needs to be addressed. So before we start talking about why I'm not that big a fan of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe's battle mode, let's talk about the older games first and why I prefer their style. So starting with Mario Kart 64 and Mario Kart Double Dash, they're both very similar in nature. The courses are nice and small, they're pretty impact, they're all really interesting, there's a lot of places to go to, but the biggest thing is the amount of players on the screen. There's only 4 players, well, a maximum of 4 players. Of course you could do 2 or 3 players, but you could have up to 4 players. And this is so vital because when you're playing the older games, there isn't nearly as much chaos to worry about. Now, sure, there is a lot of things to worry about, you know. There could be 3 people ganging up on you, you know, if you did something, you know, really mean to them or something. Just, I don't know, as an example. But the point is, with 4 people, it's much easier to have a set goal. Do you want to go after player 2? Do you want to just go after player 3? Well, it's really easy to do that. And on top of that, if you're playing with 3 or 4 players in Mario Kart 64, when someone dies, they turn into a bomb. Now that is incredible. I can't believe that the other Mario Kart games haven't really done that. And that's so cool because instead of making the players kind of sit around, they give them a little bit more of a chance to play. I mean, that is just awesome. I mean, just the fact that Nintendo realized that, you know what, this match could last, you know, another 10-15 minutes. We don't want people that lost to just be sitting out doing nothing. The bomb gives them something to do. Now, Mario Kart Double Dash didn't have that, but Double Dash had Bob-omb Blast. Now, I know Mario Kart 8 Deluxe also has Bob-omb Blast, but I'll get into why I don't really like it in the game in a little bit. So the way that Bob-omb Blast works in Double Dash is that you have to play basically offensively and defensively. So the goal is to try to get a consecutive number of hits on players, and that's basically how you win. I believe it was 4. It's been a long time since I've played Bob-omb Blast and Double Dash, but I'm pretty sure you have to hit players 4 times. But if you get hit, you lose one of your stars, and you have to get 4 of them. So because of that, you can't just chuck bombs and go buck wild. No, you have to actually strategize about where you're going, how many bombs you're using, which characters have bombs in their hands. All of that is really important, and it makes for a fun and as well as a very strategic game of battle mode. And that is why everyone loves Bob-omb Blast and Double Dash, because it requires a little bit more thought than usual, and I think that's what makes it so invigorating. Now, I quickly want to get into Mario Kart DS's battle mode. There is a jump in players. Now, there is basically always going to be 8 players on the screen. Now, since there's 8 players, things are definitely a little more hectic and it's a little bit harder to stay in control, but even then, you're still motivated to not get hit, because if you lose all your balloons, you're gone. That's it. You don't come back. Game over. So it just feels like there's a lot more pressure on you to really play well and to make sure that you're hitting other players, getting rid of their balloons, and at the same time, you're making sure that you don't get hit. And even then, I still think 8 players is a bit too much just because there's so much going on. So I still think that Mario Kart 64 and Mario Kart Double Dash have the best versions of battle mode, but now let's get into why I'm really not a fan of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe's battle mode. And this kind of ties in with Mario Kart Wii as well, because both of those games have a very similar style of battle mode. Now, before I get into it, of course, this is way better than Mario Kart 8's battle mode. I mean, obviously, you know, Deluxe has, you know, all of the new maps, a couple of really good retro maps. There's the feather item, the boo item. There's all of the game modes. All that's fantastic. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm so glad Nintendo went out of their way to really expand on the battle mode this time around. But even then, I still have problems with it. The absolute biggest problem is the amount of players. There's always 12 racers at any given time. 12 racers might sound really fun, but when you're actually playing it, it just feels like total luck if you're going to hit anybody or not. And this applies to pretty much every game mode in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Like, you know, balloon battle. Yeah, you could throw some shells, throw some bananas, you might aim at someone, but you know, it's impossible to focus on one person. It really is, because there's just way too much going on. Now, maybe I'm not the greatest Mario Kart player. I mean, that could be true, but I've poured hundreds and hundreds of hours into Mario Kart 8. And it is very difficult to win. And it just feels like luck when I win, honestly. A minor issue I have with Deluxe is when you run out of balloons, you respawn. And that's it, you get all your balloons back. Now that's completely different to how it used to be. When you used to run out of your balloons, you were gone, that was it, you did not come back. Now, I understand why they're doing this, and it makes sense to respawn online, so that way you're not just sitting around for a couple of minutes. And since there's 12 players, you're going to run out of balloons really, really quickly. And I think that's the problem in itself. There's just way too many players on the screen. Now, I don't think this mechanic is necessarily bad. The fact that you lose points when you do run out of balloons is fine, but again, it just feels like you're completely helpless. But anyway, moving on to the next point, I hate the timer. I really do. Now, again, the timer makes sense for online matches, keep them, 3 minutes long. That's perfectly fine for online. But for private online matches or for local matches, why can't we turn off the timer? There's literally no reason for that to not be an option. Because, what if you want to have a really intense match with somebody? Like, let's say there's 2 players left, right? And you're just kind of getting back and forth, and you're playing really strategically and really, really well, and it's hard to hit each other, but then the timer runs out. Oh, that's the end of that. That's what made Mario Kart 64 and Double Dash particularly fun, was when there was 2 players left, it felt like a battle of the death. It was so freaking awesome. When both of you just had 1 balloon left, the tension was so high, and it just made the game so much fun. And again, I need to iterate, this point system makes sense online, but the ability to turn off the timer in local matches or just with friends really would have been appreciated. Now, because there's always 12 players, I really felt that simply for that reason, it ruined a lot of the game modes. So, like for Bob on Blast, I kind of talked about that a bit earlier, it's just way too hectic. I know I've said that word 1,000 times, but honestly, go back and play it and tell me, are you able to focus on just one person? Can you really hit your shots, or is every bomb that you throw or drop behind you just total luck? I mean, I can't tell you how many times I have been, driving around and there's just 4 bombs right in front of me that there was literally no way I could have avoided. Just absolutely impossible. And then there's Shine Thief, which is even worse. Now look, I like Shine Thief. I think it's a really cool idea for a game mode. But because there's 12 different people, all with items, mind you, all going for the same shine, if you win, seriously, total luck, literally you just won the lottery. That's how you win Shine Thief. Because there's no way to defend yourself against 12 people, well, I guess 11 people. There's no way to defend yourself against 11 people unless you get really, really good items or you're a Mario Kart god or something. And that is basically my ramble on Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. And I need to iterate again that I don't think Deluxe's battle mode is bad. It's obviously improved over the original game, but I just don't enjoy it that much. I mean, it's fun to play maybe every once in a while, play a couple of games here and there, but if I'm trying to play seriously and trying to get a lot of wins in, it's a lot easier to just do races than do battle mode, honestly. And I understand battle mode's supposed to be kind of like a party game, which is fine, but again, just having an option to choose how many players can be on a map at one time would have been nice, like being able to pick between 12 or 8 or 6 or 4 or whatever limit you want. That would have been really, really nice. And honestly, I hope we see that in the next Mario Kart. And with that, honestly, I want to hear your thoughts about this. So let me know in the comments what you thought of this. Do you agree with me or do you not agree with me at all? Let me know. Make sure to like and subscribe too if you enjoyed this video. And with that, I'm going to get going. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will catch you all later.